Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video on this channel. A few days ago I asked you to share some of your opinions.
Hi, besties.
Yes.
Let's keep that.
And today I am finally going to read them and react to them. If you want to participate in the next video, I will leave the link in the description. And with nothing more to say, let's get started.
I cannot focus on anything, on anyone but you.
I don't care if a group or idol just debuted. If it's their first stage, then fine, I'll give the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they're just nervous. But if their vocals are below the average over the next few stages, then I'm not gonna hate on them, but I'm not gonna exactly praise them for trying. No matter your age, debut date, choreography, position, or amount of lines they have, then they should be able to have decent vocals, at least BC. Isn't that what training is for? Majority of idols train for around 1 year and above. During that time, shouldn't they develop decent vocals?
I completely agree with this take. I understand that experience plays a big role, and that nerves are real. But the excuse of they just debuted does not work for me when we are talking about skill level. I am not talking about cracking once on stage or sounding shaky because of nerves. That can happen to anyone. I mean idols who consistently show that they do not have the level to be in a group, not vocally, not in rap, and not even in dance. So at that point, what are you there for? Saying they just debuted does not make sense to me. Debuting is supposed to mean that you are ready, not that you are debuting in order to start learning. Of course, with time skills can improve and grow even more. But if you are a mess in every aspect from the start, I am not going to be able to defend that. I wish K-pop stands like you.
Shut the fuck up about the Irene situation. We don't even have her side of the story. By other idols and her staff, she is described to be reserved and doesn't talk much. Do you never wonder what the stylist did to set her off? Or are you too simple-minded to think for yourself and just hop on a pretty successful—
All of this just because I said that what Irene did was not okay, and her fans minimized it like it was no big deal. I love how they go. Do you ever wonder what the stylist did to set her off? Yes, of course, I wonder what the stylist could have possibly done to deserve being humiliated, disrespected to that extent, and even brought to tears. I love Red Velvet. I even own an Irene photo card. But the way I am a fan does not include treating idols like they are babies. She made a mistake. She admitted it and she moved on. Now you should move on too.
Lies and bunnies are the twinsies. They both accuse groups for plagiarism without having any knowledge about the music style, etc.
It honestly makes me laugh so much when one fandom accuses another of plagiarism over the tiniest thing. Because the group you stan will also have similarities with songs or concepts that were done before. No one has a completely original idea that has never ever been seen. Most concepts are based on trends, and just because your group did something earlier than another does not mean they are the pioneer of it. Mice and bunnies are especially guilty of this. The K-pop community nowadays is just cancel culture at this point. Every week there's some new idol getting cancelled or exposed for 𝒉𝒐. I more or less agree. There's a lot of hate in the community and fandom wars never stop. When an idol gets cancelled, sometimes people go all in for a week, and then completely forget about it, and other times they never take the target off their back again. Neither extreme makes sense to me. There has to be some middle ground sometimes. I also feel like people are insanely moralistic. The moment an idol makes a mistake, it's treated like the worst cardinal sin imaginable, and suddenly you're not allowed to listen to their music, buy their albums, or even mention their name. Like, chill, you say you're OT8 once because Chaeyoung wore a controversial shirt once 2 years ago. But you have J Park Stan account in your bio. Be serious for a second. K-pop groups should do one comeback a year with year-round promotions, a full album with minimum 20 songs that are all hits. We need to bring back quality music. The more time an album has to cook, the better it sounds, unless you're Blackpink. About that, it is something that has always puzzled me about K-pop. Why do they release so many songs? In other music genres, artists take years to put out new music. I do not think it has much to do with quality because most groups do not write their own songs, so companies can work on several comebacks at the same time. And all of them can still be solid and well-produced albums. In my opinion, it has much more to do with the level of competition in the industry, with the need to constantly keep the audience's attention, because otherwise fans will move on to support another group that is probably doing something very similar to what you do, and will stop following you. It is a dynamic that is deeply rooted in K-pop, and I do not think it will change anytime soon, especially with how fast the industry moves and how replaceable artists are perceived to be. Paving the way is a baseless statement when no one will like your fave's music based on that argument. You can prove to me the whole night how BTS paved the way, and I will listen to you, and then I still won't become an army and say BTS has the best music in K-pop, so what's the point? Genuinely asking. As an army, I have a pretty clear opinion about this. I believe that many groups have contributed to K-pop in a meaningful way, but BTS's impact is undeniable. They are the group that truly made K-pop global. And I am not talking about people simply realizing that music is also made in Korea like what happened with PSY. But about the world understanding that there is an entire industry there, with systems, artists, fandoms, and culture, and I think that when people repeat that BTS paved the way, they are not doing it to force others to stan the group, but to acknowledge the importance BTS has had, and the historical context of their success. And in the setting of fan wars, it is probably also used to say that what BTS achieved is not really comparable to what any other group has done. Whether they have the best music in the industry or not is purely subjective and comes down to personal taste. There are many people who rank their discography as number one, and others who think it is not that good, and that is completely valid. Everyone is free to have their own opinion. What should not be denied is the scale of their influence and how much they changed the trajectory of K-pop worldwide. I do not like when Nayeon gets more lines than Jihyo or Jonghyun. Some songs I can understand as it may suit her tone more than the others, but when songs which suit Jihyo and Jonghyun so much more, she ends up getting more lines, which pisses me off. Her high note in I Can't Stop Me was not good, and it's a fact. I always skip that part cause it felt really annoying. I know she is the face of the group and blah blah blah, but they are a 9-membered group. I get what you mean. I don't really like it either when one member gets way more lines than the rest, especially in a group like Twice where there are so many strong vocalists. Honestly, a lot of the lines that Nayeon gets in some songs could easily be given to other vocal members, so it doesn't feel like she's singing 60% of the track. And it's not about her not deserving lines because she obviously does. She's a great singer and a perfect center, but in certain songs it just feels excessive. I also think it's very much a JYP strategy. They tend to push one voice as the core of the song for recognition and consistency, but sometimes that comes at the cost of balance. And with a group as established as Twice, I feel like they could afford to distribute lines more evenly and let other members shine vocally without it hurting the song at all. I hate when groups like Cat's Eye, Black Swan, XG, etc. are called K-pop because they are just not. They are a global group or have not Korean members, so let's be FR. K-pop is literally Korean pop, so group needs to have at least one Korean member or half Korean. Also, songs like 𝒉𝒆𝒏𝒆 are not K-pop too. It pisses me off so bad because people now resume K-pop to shitty songs like that when it's not even K-pop. Same with most songs of Lisa too. About this, I think I have an unpopular opinion, and it's that for me all of those groups are K-pop. If you trained under a Korean system, your company is Korean, and most importantly you promote on Korean shows, my brain is going to categorize you as a K-pop group. No matter how much people say they are global groups, in practical terms they are K-pop groups because they do everything a K-pop group does. If they or their fans want to call themselves a global group, that's fine, but I feel like sometimes this need to avoid the K-pop label comes from xenophobia, because the word K-pop carries such a negative meaning for some groups and fans. Why does it make you so mad when people call them K-pop? Is it because you truly believe your group is so superior that it goes beyond what is considered K-pop? Or because you want to benefit from the good things that come with being labeled K-pop while ignoring the not-so-good ones? As for songs by non-Korean members, honestly in my head that is also K-pop. If you don't see it that way, that's fine. This is simply how I see it. nmixx is one of the most talented and versatile groups ever, but people don't want to admit it because of their dividing music and lack of promotion from JYP. nmixx is a very good group. They have undeniable talent, but personally there are songs I really enjoy and others that I don't like at all. So it's hard for them to become one of my favorite groups when they have so many different songs and concepts. I feel like they have two types of fans, and with every comeback they end up catering to one side or the other. Still, they are extremely talented, and I don't think anyone can truly deny that. Their skills are there even if their musical direction is not always for everyone. Alter Ego is overhated. It's not my fave Blackpink solo album. It's second after Ruby, but the songs are good. Not all but October 15th are very good. I feel that if the album was in Korean, people would have accepted it easier, and probably the only English songs could have been New Woman and Born Again. I really do not like Alter Ego at all. I feel like it was an album made without any kind of care or emotional involvement, especially when you compare it to the albums released by the other Blackpink members. The only songs I can actually listen to are Rockstar and Born Again, but even with Born Again it is clear that they were only aiming for a commercial project with no real passion behind it. Are you really telling me that three huge artists like Doja Cat, Ray, and Lisa came together and met for the first time on the set of the music video? That does not feel serious at all. Ruby and Rosie seem infinitely better to me.
And this has been all. I hope you like it. Make sure to like and subscribe if you did. It would help me a lot. See ya.